Hey there, I made again with another copy written by Ning. Like he wrote this copy to sell a knife. He said it. Like I like Ning, like his thought process is out of this world and he likes selling all this household stuff. So he wrote this copy to sell a knife, so let's start dissecting it. Kelsey Ali reveals the biggest frustration inside the Paleo Arts test kitchen, where all your recipes are created. So this copy is directed to warm audience. Like these guys, they've been buying cookbooks from Paleo. So they probably know who Kelsey Ali is. So there's no need to introduce who she is anymore. She's someone they know already. Why do most kitchen knives and one thing about people is this, they want to know the behind the scenes stories. Like they want to know what's happening behind the scene. Like when they are seeing a brand, they always want to know what's that thing these guys are doing behind the scene that is not open to us. That's why I said where and it reveals the biggest frustration inside the Paleo Axe test kitchen where all your recipes are created. So they all want to know it. I'll be like, wow, this woman, this Ali is ready to reveal this secret to us. Let's check it out. This seeing this sub headline, this leading sentence rather, is going to make them curious. They want to know more about what's happening behind the scene. Why do most kitchen knives dull after just 1 month of use? And how do you keep your knife sharp for 50 years or more without replacing it? Like, this is more like a question like why do most kitchen knives dull after just 1 month of use? He's asking a question. So when you see this, we're like, yeah, why? Why? You too, if you have been noticing it before, like that all your kitchen knives are dulling after a month. Like, yes, I've been asking myself this question before. Like, why are they dulling after just a month? Then it's not telling you like how do you keep your knife sharp for 50 years or more without replacing it? So that's what one thing you are thinking about is why is this knife dulling after a month? Then it's not telling you like I'm going to tell you how you are going to keep your knife sharp for 50 years or more without replacing it. So that's the headline and the thought process behind it. So this copy is a video sales letter and a sales copy. So we are not dissecting the video sales letter because most of the things in the video VSL is also in this what's it called in the sales copy. So let's head to the sales copy that we want to dissect. Plus how blacksmiths from this tiny Japanese village forge kitchen knives that are twice as sharp and 4x as strong as Western knives, and why Japanese knife cost over $900 a pop. So he did a lot of things here. Like he talked about the more like the discovery story. Like this knife that he wants to reveal to you is from Japanese, is from Japan. So talked about why they like telling you something like their knife is twice as sharp and 4x stronger than the Western knives you are familiar with, like the one you are using that does after a month. And he also did price anchoring here by telling you Japanese knife cost over $900 a pop. So you bet this thing is something that is expensive. Use this as price anchoring and to build value for the knife you want to introduce. Introducing the Shinzo shelf knife. This is the picture of the knife. This is an image of the knife. Chop meats and veggies so quickly, safely, and effortlessly that prep time is cut in half. Like this is what these guys that are buying cookbooks from Paleo House, this is what they want. They want to be able to do things faster. Like they want to chop meat and veggies quickly, safely, and effortlessly. This is their desire. Like this is the desire attached to the knife. This is what and this is also what they are going to gain. Like this is the benefit of you buying the Chinzo knife. And you like if you spend 30 minutes on cutting all your veggies and meat, with this Chinzo knives, you will be spending just 15 minutes. With a knife made of unique Japanese steel, so hard, so sharp and durable, it won't dull, rust, or chip for 50 years, or we will replace it for free. So this is more like the primary promise. Like if this thing, if it rusts or dull or cheap in 50 years, before 50 years time, we are going to replace it for free. This is more like guarantee. Like they are telling you, you are not taking any risks. You are the one taking all the risks here. If your kitchen is a paleo axe kitchen, you chop a lot, which means your kitchen knives goes dull fast, especially if you are using a cheap Western style knife. You know, I said it earlier that this copy is directed to warm audience. Like these guys have been buying cookbooks, and it's possible that they have been on paleo diets. So he's saying if your kitchen is a paleo axe kitchen, you chop a lot, which means your kitchen knives go dull fast, especially if you are using a cheap Western knife style knife. And most of these guys that buy these paleo axe cookbooks, like they are in the United States. So it is 100 90% of them will be using Western knife kitchen. So our top members who make a lot of recipes can all confirm the paleo axe lifestyle is tough on kitchen knives because when you use a knife like the knife you are using every day, it tends to run out or dull when it comes to a point. So which is why we scored the globe for a kitchen knife so sharp and durable. It lasts through years of shopping and dicing. Our search lead us to the all-purpose 8-inch Shinzo chef knife, a masterpiece crafted in the Far East from Japanese steel that is nearly twice as sharp and 4x stronger than Western kitchen knives. A knife perfect for the demanding needs of your paleo axe. Like the what is stated in the headline, like he's restating everything here, is consistent with his claim. A dull knife, and it's also building the value like for this thing, like making it valuable in the eyes of the prospect by telling them that this thing is different, completely different from the Western knife you are familiar with. It is twice as sharp and 4x stronger than the Western knives. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. Plus, it makes chopping veggies a difficult, frustrating job. Have you seen this cheap knife warning signs in your kitchen? Rust spots that show up after just a few wash cycles, chipping and breaking because the metal is brittle, dull edges that force you to put more pressure on the knife. Like so, he's telling us now that a dull knife is a dangerous knife. So apart from being dangerous, like and but later in the body of the copy, he's going to explain why a dull knife is dangerous. And it also said apart from being dangerous, it makes chopping veggies a difficult, frustrating job. So it's telling like these are things the prospect are familiar with. They are familiar with having rust spots on their knives after watching it for a few times, chipping and breaking because the metal of the knives is brittle, and there are dull edges that forces them to put more pressure on the knife. So it's now explaining like if you have to strain when you chop, it's because your knife has gone dull, which is a problem because dull knives cause accidents. Don't like it's saying it that these dull knives you are using in your house might cause accidents one day. All it takes is one little slip and you could nick yourself or drop the knife. Most cheap knives lose their edge after just 1 month of use. You see, he's specific with this, with his claim. Like it's just after a month that these knives will lose their edge. As a result, you are stuck chopping onions, tomatoes, celery, and sticks with a knife that is frustrating and dangerous to use, especially if you are preparing hard vegetables like potatoes, sweet potato, or squash. Most Western kitchen knives dull after 1 month of use because they are made from cheap, soft steel that doesn't last. So it's telling us why all these knives, why they get dull after a month of use, all these Western kitchen knives. So one thing about copy is this: when you are writing copy and you made a claim, even if you are backing up the claim with proof, always tell us the reason behind it. If you say something is going to die after a month, tell the prospect the reason. Like this is why this thing is going to die in a month. So when you tell them the reason, it's going to increase the believability of the claim you make. So as a result, prep time becomes a time-consuming chore that bottlenecks the whole cooking process, which means living the healthy paleo axe lifestyle becomes harder and falling off the bandwagon becomes easier. In the paleo axe kitchen where my team and I create your recipes, I have one rule of thumb. If I cut myself on a knife, it's time to throw it away. With the amount of recipe we make, that gets expensive. You know, he said if you are using a dull knife, it's a dull knife is dangerous. So it's possible it causes accident. So this man and or this woman, this Ali, she said Like she's the guru, like the guru behind this copy. It's true that Ning is the one that wrote the copy, but they use this Ali as the guru. So she said if she cuts herself, like we all know that based on what he said earlier that a dull knife is a dangerous knife. We all know that it's easy if you're using a dull knife, it's more easier for you to get caught on your hands because it's a dull knife. So she said she has this rule in paleo her kitchen, like once she cuts herself with a knife, like she's going to throw the knife away. With the amount of recipes we make, that gets expensive. And most of our top members simply don't have that luxury. You know, paleo has a company. Like, they are going to the money to do that. They have the money to do it. Like once they throw a knife away, they have another money to buy the knife immediately. But I'm telling you now that as a company, we might be able to afford it. But you as a person, like the prospect as a person, might not be able to afford it. Like, they don't have that luxury to throw knife away once the knife cut them, once they get the cost from the knife. So that's exactly why a few months ago, the Palio Arts kitchen team and I set out to solve this knife problem for good. We scoured the world, researched manufacturing locations, and talked to countless experts. Our mission: find a knife that meets the eye chopping and loads of dicing needs for paleo axe kitchens around the world. We needed a knife that meets just two requirements. It needs to be so sharp, cutting meat and vegetables becomes effortless. And it needs to have an edge that is so durable we don't replace it for 50 years or more. So he wants to talk about he's getting into the discovery story of the product now. Now he said he mentioned the benefits of using a good knife. He said a sharp knife, like if you are using a sharp knife, cutting meat and vegetables will become effortless. Like you won't be spending a lot of time and you won't be spending more effort. You'll be using more effort just to cut meat and vegetables. And if you get a knife that has a durable edge, you won't have to replace it for 50 years or more. And all these things are present in the knife he wants to sell to you. So our search for a beautifully crafted, long-lasting kitchen knife led us to a village in Japan known for forging the most expensive knives in the world. So yeah, I said he wants to get into the discovery story. Like this is now in the discovery story. The first thing we heard about Seki City Seki City, Japan was a blacksmith there have been forging knives for more than 2,000 years, ever since the days of the samurai katana, the strongest sword in the world. Like this, like we all know Japan, they have all these samurai. Like we know the swords these samurai use. Like the swords are crazy. Just one slash is going to do cut off anything they want to cut off. So now it's telling us like this Seki City, like the blacksmith there, they are the one that have been forging knives for all these samurai, and they have been doing it for more than 2,000 years. Like this is really credibility for the blacksmith that produced this knife he wants to sell to the prospect. So, and I also said ever since the days of samurai katana, like the strongest word in the world, the strongest sword in the world. So these guys, like these blacksmiths, they are the one that even produce the strongest sword in the world. Like this is credibility. Like for these guys to produce all these crazy things, and they have been doing it for a very long time. Like they're not going to produce something that is fake or something that will be similar to that Western knife the prospect are familiar with. Oh yeah, and chef knives made there cost an astounding $900 a pop. Holy crap, am I right? So now, like, he said it in the headline, like the knife he wants to introduce you, like the knife he wants to sell to the prospect, cost $900. So he's repeating it now, and even like although the prospect start reading this copy because they are curious, they want to know more about it, but they are also like scared a little. Like, why will you sell the knife for me for $900? So he said, obviously, this wasn't practical for our Paleo Arts members, yet our curiosity was piqued. Why were knives made there so expensive? The answer is eye-opening, so to say the least. Now, when you repeat the claim that the knives there made there were $900, so he said, obviously this wasn't practical. We all know these things, like the postman all know this isn't a practical something to do. Like, why will you be selling a knife for $900? This thing is crazy. Like, how do you expect me to buy a knife for $900? This is what is going on in the mind of the prospect. Then get into their head and tell them that I know this thing is not practical. But because the knife made there is expensive, that's why we went there to check it. Like, what is happening? Why are your knives so expensive? Like, this is what led us into going into that village to check them up. So the answer, but when they get into the village, they get an answer, and the answer is eye-opening to say the least. Knife making in Seki City, Japan, is a totally different process from the mass production assembly line used in the West. So they are telling like the difference between the knives. Like what's the difference between the knives make in this Seki city that is different from the knives make in the Western world that make their knives to be $900, which is extremely and crazily expensive than the Western world knife that we are familiar with and have been using. This is what is going on in the mind of the prospect. Then it gets into their mind. He's telling them now that this is why. He wants to tell them the reason like the reason why the knives get from this Seki city is expensive. In Europe and America, knife making takes place in factories where machines and robot arms cut and assemble steel blocks into the knives we use. The whole process is optimized for speed, cost, cost and mass production, similar to how textile or toys are made. Like if you haven't been to a factory where they are making knife before in the United States. So it's telling you like this is how they make it. And they use robots and machines to make knives. And even if you don't understand it, like if the person can't get themselves to understand how machines and robots are used to make knife, then he said similar to how textiles or toys are made. He's trying to mention something that can relate with easily. In Seki City, our knife making is an art form refined over millennia and it's respected with precision, care, and spiritual respect. Like this is the difference. It's more like the unique mechanism. Knives are works of art, not cookie cutter replicas spit out of machines. They are made by professional blacksmiths and sword craftsmen who have been forging knives for generations. It's an art that started back in feudal Japan, where a samurai's life depended on the steel in his sword. Samurai katanas are the strongest and sharpest swords in the world, capable of slicing bamboo trees in half with a single slash, yet precise enough to cut a single human hair in two. As samurais became outdated, the sword making art lived on. The same process is now used to make the sharpest and most beautiful kitchen knives in the world. Seki City, Japan is a world-renowned knife forging village where this craft lives on, and it's there that we discovered a masterpiece. So now he's talking about like he has explained how knife is made in the USA. Now he's talking about how knife is made in Japan, like in Seki City in Japan. So it's telling you like these guys they respect me sword and knife making so well. They pay more attention to it. Unlike in the Western world where they are just after money. Like these guys are not after the money itself. Like they have this spiritual respect for what they do. Then he's telling us he wants the prospect to relate with it very well. And if you know who the samurai is, then or you've watched some movie where there is a samurai, you notice that like these guys they pay more attention to their swords and their sword is very very crazy. Like once they give someone a single slash, it's going to like their sword is just so sharp. This is what he's trying to explain. So this is the masterpiece discovered. The Shinzo shelf knife, handcrafted with 67 layers of VG10 Japanese steel, so it strikes as sharp and 4 times stronger than Western knives. And so like the benefit of this knife is like it's twice as sharp and it's 4 times stronger than Western knife. But it has something that leads to that. And what leads to it is the handcrafted 67 layers of VG10 Japanese steel. Like this is the feature like this is the feature. One thing about writing copy is this. When a lot of gurus out there will always tell you like you should focus on benefit. Like it's not the benefit is not the only thing you have to focus on when writing a copy. You should focus on the features too. Like you, you don't state feature alone. Like if you want to state feature, state it closely related with the benefit. Then if you are telling them that you are going to live long, tell them that your if you are telling them that your product is going to make them live long, tell them that your product is going to make them live long because you had so and so to it. So and so to it is the future. So you're not just telling them blindly like you are going to live long. When you tell them you are going to live long, they'll be like, why am I going to live long? Why? You will still be skeptical about it. Like every one of your prospects, like everyone in the world, they want to live long. But you telling them they are going to live long alone doesn't cut it. Like you should tell them why they are going to live long. So with like this for this copy to in telling them that this knife is twice as sharp and 4 times stronger than the Western world alone, doesn't cut it. Like they are happy already. Like you guys have discovered something we want. But that alone doesn't cut it. You have to tell them why it is twice as sharp and four times stronger. Then he said, it is twice as sharp and four times stronger because it is handcrafted with 67 layers of Vegetables in Japanese steel. Japanese steel, Shinzo steel, 67 layers. All these are the features. All these are the features. These are what make the knife to be so strong and so sharp that it's very good, and it's 10x or 4x the Western knife you are familiar with. 67 layers of Japanese steel with a cutting core of 60 Rockwell hardness to ensure exceptional sharpness, strength, durability, and stain resistance. So he said something like he said something earlier about the knife having rust, like the knife having rust spot. So he said this knife is stain resistant, razor sharp blade, premium G10 handle, ripple surface finish. The Chinzo chef knife is made of VG10 Japanese steel that is folded and layered like samurai swords. Like now he's explaining the process behind making of that knives. The Chinzo knife is superior to regular kitchen knives in three specific ways. You see, most kitchen knives in the West are made from a single block of cheap metal. Chinzo knives, on the other hand, are made from 67 layers of VG10 Japanese steel that's welded together, superheated in a forge, folded and hammered thousands of times, and then cooled with a liquid nitrogen. This intensive process hardens the steels and gets rid of any impurities. As a result, Chinzo steel is often 4x harder than normal. This unique process is why Chinzo knives stay sharper, longer, resist chipping and rust. It's also how Chinzo knives get their beautifully layered blade. So he did something there. Like he's talking about how these knives were made, which makes it different from the knife you familiar with in the West already. He's talking about the features and he's intertwining it with the benefit. By telling you it's made with layers of vegetants, still, blah 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 blah. And with that, it makes it 4x harder than normal. It's and it also give it this and the unique process also makes it to stay sharper longer, resist chipping and rust, and it's also how Chinzo knives get their beautifully layered blade pattern. So it's not like all these things, like it's not just strong alone, it also has this beautiful layered blade pattern. The Chinzo chef knife is nearly twice as sharp as regular kitchen knives. In the West, knife edges are measured at 25 degrees. And this is like more like a claim again, like a claim like this knife is twice as sharp. Then he wants to explain why it's twice as sharp, like what they add to it to make it to be twice as sharp. Then he's explaining like the West, he's comparing the product now. Like the product and the knife you're familiar with in the West, their edges are measured at 25 degrees, which is decently sharp, but not exceptional by any means. In Japanese in Japanese knife making culture, however, that's simply not sharp enough. Remember, samurai blades had to be so sharp, they cut through steel armor, solid bamboo, even other metal weapons. It had to be so strong and reliable that a samurai warrior could stake his life on it. As a result, the sword maker's entire career and reputation depended on the craftsmanship of his blades. That is why in Seki City, these Chinzo knives are sharpened to an edge of 14 to 16 degrees instead of the normal 25 degrees most Western knives hold. The harder, stronger steel makes this razor sharp edge possible, which means you will slice effortlessly through fruit, veggies, and meat, making prep time easier than ever. So like this is the benefit these guys want. Like they want to be able to slice effortlessly through their fruits, veggies, meat, and they want to reduce the prep time. Like, they want the prep time to be easy. They want it to be easier than before. Like this is their benefit. And one thing he has been doing since, like he's comparing both products, telling them the difference between the Western knife and the samurai the Japanese Chinzo knife. He's also getting into the unique mechanism, like he's doing two things together. He's telling us about the unique mechanism of the problem and the unique mechanism of the solution. Shinzo knife handles are perfectly weighted and balanced for smooth, effortless cutting. The Shinzo handle is weighted. It's slightly heavier than most kitchen knife handles, so the knife does the cutting instead of your hand. Translation: less effort, less muscle, less accident, and easier chopping. Like this is the benefit these guys want. Like this is what these guys want. Like they don't want to exhaust their energy when they are cutting things in the kitchen. Like so, he's telling me like this Shinzo knife, the handle of this Shinzo knife, like the handle is just also like a benefit, like a feature too. This is now the benefit of the handle. Like the handle is heavy, and so when the prospect when they see this, like the handle is heavy. So what's the core, like what's the use of the handle being heavy? Like what's the reason behind the handle being heavy? So he's telling them like this is the reason, like this is the benefit behind the handle being heavy. Like it's going to make like going to be spending more effort and more muscle on cutting things, and there will also be less accident and easier chopping. It's not too heavy either. And instead, you have a perfectly balanced, secure, and comfortable grip that is seamlessly welded for an incredible finish. Like another thing going on in their mind, like, so this thing is heavy. So how will I be able to weld it easily? I'll be able to use it easily in the kitchen. It breaks the objection by telling you it's not too heavy either. They'll be like, oh wow, so it's not that heavy. It's still the blade and the handle are beautiful. All mark of a Japanese masterpiece. Blacksmiths in the Far East pour their art and soul into crafting these knives, which is why the word Shinzo literally means art in Japanese. So, like, he has talked about the handle, the blade, and everything, like all the features about the knife. Then he's also telling you the reason behind the name. To make you, he's building the value so high, like this product is something I really want to get. You like this is the first time I'll be seeing someone telling me details about a knife. I'll be seeing someone paying attention to knife. So I really want to get this type of knife, even though I am not in their target audience. Like I don't fancy anything about knife. But with the way you explain it, I I have taken an interest in knives. Talk more, people that are his target audience, like these guys that are pilot and cookbooks, they cook a lot. So they can relate with everything he's saying. The Chinzo chef knife slices effortlessly through meat, vegetables and other ingredients for 50 years or more, or you get a free replacement. Weeks reversal, this is a guarantee. Like if it spoils before 50 years, you are going to get a free replacement. Thanks to the Chinzo knife's expert level of craftsmanship. And when you are saying this, the guarantee is just 50 years. What's not give you a guarantee of 50 years on a knife? They are confident this knife we are saying can even extend more than that. They are confident there's nothing that's going to happen to it. And this one saying like guarantee, the longer the guarantee, the higher the deliverability and the trust your prospect will have in you. So like when this guarantee is just so high like this, like it is high, like the people will believe like this thing is true. It's something I have to pay attention to. Like I don't want to miss this thing. Chop onions and dice garlic quickly and easily. Prep peppers, avocados, and even add vegetables like squash and sweet potatoes safely and efficiently. Fillet fish or cut steak without tearing the meat apart. Like this is what these guys want. Like they want all these things. And these are things that are hard for them because of the Western and knives. But with this Chinzo knives, you'll be using it easily. Like this is the benefits. All the while, you don't have to worry about having to use too much force on your knife slipping or your knife slipping, which means chopping meat, vegetables, herbs, and other ingredients is faster, easier, and safer than ever. On top of that, one single knife lasts for years. So you are saving money. And when we look at this from another point like this, when the prospect look at this from another point, if I use a single knife for 50 years and I buy it for nine, I buy it, I paid $900 for it, compared to when I'm using a single knife for a month. After a month, I have to change it because it has become dull. So that like in their head now, they are trying to compare it themselves. Like he has triggered some emotions in them, and he has gotten into the logical part of their brain where they are thinking themselves like this thing worth it. Like this thing worth it. This level of speed, convenience, and efficiency is why professional chefs in Japan pay upwards of $900 for a quality knife that lasts. So like he has been, I even know like this guy has been doing tries and currents since the beginning of this. He's telling them that this is the worth of the product I want to reveal to you. But he has reassured them that we know you can't afford this. Like it is not practical. So in their mind, they know that these guys they have a great deal for me. That's why most of them are still on this page at this moment. Because most people when they see something like $900, I don't think I can afford this. But because he has assured them like this thing, I know it is not practical. So they know this guy is going to give them the best deal. That's an incredible stroke of luck we were able to secure a one-time shipment of 500 Chinzo chef knife for our Paleo Arcs members for today. Like it's specific with with everything he's claiming here, thanks to an incredible stroke of luck. So we only get luck, like it's because of the luck we have. That's why we were able to secure one-time shipment. One time, notice that word, one time, of 500 Chinzo chef knives for our Paleo Arcs member today. So, like he did, like let's check it. Stroke of luck, one time shipment, 500. Like all these things, he's telling the prospect like this thing we are trying to sell to you, this Chinzo chef knives, it is scarce. We only get it because of a stroke of luck. So it's hard to come by. And we have one time shipment. It's not a we won't be getting shipments all the time. It's only one time shipment of 500. We have only 500 at the moment in stock. That this thing is scarce. He wants you to take action immediately. He wants the prospect to take action immediately. With all the supply chain issues going around, then he's explaining it. Like with all the things he stated in the sub headline, so he's explaining now. With all the supply chain issues going around, I was pretty pessimistic about getting a hold of few of these beautiful Kenzo knives for our Paleo Axe kitchen as well as for our members. However, fate intervened. By a random stroke of luck, the project manager of our recipe development team knew a supplier back east. They agreed to ship us a box of 500 Chinzo knives or to try out. They recently came in the mail, and when we tested them out in our Paleo Arts kitchen, we were blown away. Chopping and cutting was easier, faster than ever, and they are very bit as sharp as they were when they arrived a few months ago. And so that after these things came in, like we tried it in our kitchens too, and we see the results. So they have confirmed it for you. And for these people, you are like this thing. The target it is targeted as this company is targeted as at the warm audience. Like these guys, they've been buying a lot of things from them before. Like they trust these guys enough. They believe anything this guy recommend, it's a good thing. Anything these guys are selling, like this thing is good. Which is why today we are doing a special one of a kind promotion. We took a few of these knives for our own kitchen and reserved the rest for our Paleo Arts VIP members. If you love our cookbooks and have been cooking our recipes, you are going to need a great kitchen knife to back you up. That's why for these 500 knives, we are going to offer an incredible discount. If you've bought, as you see, if you've bought a Paleo Arts cookbook before, you are eligible to grab one of these 500 rare valuable Chinzo knives for a 75% discount. You see, today you won't have to pay $900 price and coming. Like this is getting into his offer now. Like this is for warm audience, people that have bought from us before. So they are giving you the prospect 5% discount. You see, today you won't have to pay $900 for a handcrafted Chinzo chef knife, which is exactly what professional chefs in Japan pay for high quality knives like this. You won't have to pay $497. You won't even like this is the price brought down. It's bringing the price down. You won't even have to it's breaking everything now. You won't even have to pay $297 while Chinzo knife sells for $297 all day. Today we are letting our top value ask members in on an incredible 75% off discount and get a Chinzo chef knife sent to their doorstep for just $69.99. I will be honest, it's only because of our project manager's connection that we are able to offer this. Like this is a crazy offer already. Like the price brought down, like for something that sells for $900 in Japan, for you to be getting it, like you in America, like they are prospecting in America, for them to be getting it for $69.99, like it's a great offer already. Like this is a no-brainer offer. Now he's explaining like he wants to build more scarcity for this to this thing. Like he go back to explain it to tell you like he will be honest. It's only because of their project manager's connection that they are able to get to offer this discount. I have every reason to believe we won't be able to offer these knives again at all. Much less at this phenomenal price. So if you are interested in easier cooking, if you plan on diving headfirst into the paleo axe lifestyle with all this chopping and cutting needs, if you want to make prep time easier and more efficient than ever, I highly recommend you click the button below to grab a Chinzo chef knife for yourself. So it's guaranteed to last for 50 years or more, or we will send you a replacement for free. We believe in the sharpness, durability. Like this is the guarantee. Like he has said it earlier, he has been saying it earlier since. Like it has 50-year money back guarantee. So he's repeating it here because he has gotten into his offer. He talked about the discounts and all those blah 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 in his offer. So 50 years money back guarantee. These 500 Chinzo knives will run out fast. Grab them while you can. Urgency. Do this immediately. Do it immediately. We only have 500 at the moment. So if you don't take action now, it's going to run out. This is a real limit. We started out with just 500 Chinzo chef knives. Once they are gone, we have to take this page down and this offer may disappear forever. Because the reality is due to supply chain issues, we have no clue when we are going to be able to get our hands on another box of Chinzo knives again. They may be the only time we'll ever be able to, like this scarcity. Like he isn't like he wants you to take action immediately. Then he's telling you this thing is scarce. We are not even sure that there are some uncertainty about when we are going to get another batch of these knives. If the button down below is still there, it means there is still a Chinzo chef knife available for you. So go ahead and click the button below to grab it now before this offer disappears forever. Thanks for reading and I will see you in the kitchen. So if you notice one thing about this audience, I'm going to take this down on so day. I tell me like we are going to take it down once this knife run out. And one thing I like about this audience is this. Even if they were able to get another batch of this knife, and they are still selling and this audience will always be working. Because you don't know if they were able to get it. Because of what they said, what Ning said in this topic, like you are convinced already. This knife is scarce. So if I don't want to miss out on it, I have to click on this link immediately. Get it? So you are sold already. You are convinced already. And they've attached scarcity to it. So you want to take like the person you want to take action immediately. Like you want to be urgent about it. This is picture, this is CTA. Yes, ship me a one of a kind Shinzo knife for just 200 and for just 600. Oh, sorry, for just $69.99 today. Yes, add to cart. This is their CTA. And these are the frequently asked question. After the frequently asked question, this is another CTA. That's all. So I hope you learned something from this. If you learned something, please like this video. And if you are watching for the first time, please subscribe to this channel and make sure you click on the notification button to get notified when I drop another video of me dissecting copy written by great copywriters, both the one that are living at the moment and one that are dead. Thank you very much. And very soon I'll be dissecting a copy written by Stefan Georgi to sell a fat burning product. I think he partnered with Mike Tyson for the copy. So watch out for this video for the video too. It's going to be an amazing one. And there is this thing like I'm planning on dissecting copy privately where I'll create a group to dissect copy privately where I'll be getting into the main thought process of dissecting of this copywriter that will be dissecting their copy and talking about different things about copy, talking about different copy components, copy chops, and we'll discuss, have challenges. So if you would like to know more about that challenge, there is a link below after the paleo recipe, after this thing, it's a link below. Like if you click on the link, you get to know about all the challenge. So once you click on the link, you will get access to the challenge, to the group, and everything else. So see you in the group. Thank you.